Hi everyone, welcome to our treasure home. And hey Kim, hey Rebecca. Oh, there goes that. All right, I'm not fully, I have nothing going across nothing. When you hop around from streaming services and stuff, it's like, there we go. Did that pull up? We'll do this. I'll do the ticker one. There we go. And then I took my name off. Oh well. That's all right. So hi TV watchers, hi people in the chat and replay watchers. Thank you for being here. Oh, I took my name off. I am Nancy, so I'm trying to sit there and I'll just have to do it this way. And see what it does. There it goes. I don't know, my screen got messed up the other day, so everything looks bigger than what it's supposed to be, and like nothing looks the same. I don't like when they update stuff, because then you gotta learn and find it all over again. So, and yes, we do still have people up. So you'll hear some things like usual. So that's okay. All right, I'm just trying to see. Well, all right, everything looks good. Say, hey, Heather, how you doing? Hi, Bud Files, Sue, and everything. So, I am going to start a series about situational awareness. And let me get back to seeing the chat. There we go. All right. What's the surprise? No, there's no surprise tonight. Not my hair. I just got it wet. That's all. There's still all that gray in there. Not yet. You just never know, though. So I am starting a series about situational awareness because that I know so very well. And to get started, the reason why I can talk about this subject is because I have my associate's degree in criminal justice and I have my CSI certification. So yes, I am very aware and versed in this. I was awesome, Joy and Donnie. I was a security officer for 13 years, armed and unarmed, and I was an EMT for 8 years. Private investigations, I did before they started having licensed PI. I did when I was 16, and then I never. Then the way it worked was grandfathered in, but I had done other things also. Then I had to go get my. I did go get my PI license, so I was a private investigator for. All right, so security was 13 years, investigations 20, 8 years, sort of licensed as far as like the state was required for you to have it done. Um, and then, but medical has been my life. Thank you. Medical has also been in my life all my life. So, I have an older sister that has cerebral palsy, and I can remember when I was 6, 7 years old, her having seizures, and so we had to know how to do it, what to do if she had one, and everything. Oh, thank y'all so much. And so, um, tonight is so I do know a lot. My grandfather had a stroke. We took care of him. Um, like I said, I was licensed EMT for 8 years. And many situations, they were like, how do you know how to do that? So my job is, and they're like, oh no, never mind. you know, one of the first accidents we were on, first day riding on the rescue squad was a head-on collision accident. I won't go into details, but it was pretty bad. And so we got back to the rescue squad building, and so the guy goes, okay, let's have a debriefing, just like you see they do on TV and everything. And they were like, they were kept asking me if I was okay. I'm like, what do you mean, am I okay? They're like, that didn't bother you seeing what you saw? I'm like, well, no. They're like, why? I'm like, okay, so my grandfather had a stroke when I was 7. My older sister has cerebral palsy. My chihuahua got hit by a car, and that was kind of, I won't go into details for that because that was kind of, not good. Um, a neighbor of ours, I was probably 10 or so. I would say 10 and a half. Because it was like, I thought it was probably after I turned 10. Because it was in the springtime. He was coming home from work. And this is what they say, most accidents happen within a mile or less from home. He was a quarter mile from home. He was coming down the hill on the main road coming to our neighborhood. And it wasn't a steep hill, but there was, trees and everything. And he fell asleep and ran to the tree. And that wasn't good either. So, I saw that. I've seen a motorcycle accident, we people call them squirrels now. When you hear the sirens, you go look for it. But that was our thing back in the 70s and 80s. That was, what we did, because sometimes we could help. Sometimes we, you just sat and watched and everything. Especially if it came into our neighborhood, we wanted to see if our neighbors were okay. I lived in the hood. Does that count? Oh, yes, it does. It counts a lot. So I'll never forget. So like in 76, 77, 78, where my parents' house um, is located was the county, and then it got annexed to the city because the city wanted more money. So when they did that, there was this lot of land where one of the shopping centers was at, and they got sold. And some of y'all might know this saying: when they put up the apartments, building the apartments. I heard my parents and friends will go, "Oh, there goes the neighborhood." It's like, oh, but you kind of understood that, what was going on. Hey, Robin, how you doing? Hi, Misha. So, just giving a little bit of background about, I know about situational awareness. Um, Growing up, you know, we had 3 TV stations: ABC, NBC, CBS. And then, so, we did spend a lot of time outside, and we spent time inside also. Um, so, when my dad's watching football, or they were watching golf, or, some other show we just really didn't particularly want to watch either. We went outside. What we did was my other sister and I, we would sit on the front porch. And here the things about I like the 70s and 80s, the vehicles, you could tell which vehicle was which just by the tail lights, sit there or by the headlights. And so just to give kind of so we're sitting on our porch because we're kind of like the first street into the neighborhood because when the house was built, the neighborhood was brand new. So we have one of the main, roads go this way behind our house. Then we have, it goes up to a stoplight, and then you have another road going back and forth. And then you have two, and it's not highways, but they call them highways, or turnpikes. The main thoroughfares through the city, the county, and basically almost the whole state, but it turns like into different numbers as it goes. But anyway, we would sit there and I taught myself enough, and we sat there long enough that we could tell which road the cars were on and which direction they were going. And people were like, what do you do? Just sit there? I'm like, yeah, it's pretty fun. You just sit there and then watch the cars. And, especially at nighttime, we would sit there and watch, which way the headlights would go. And we know which way the cars were turning. So just to recap for some of y'all coming, and I have my associate's degree in criminal justice. I have my CSI certification. I was an unarmed security officer for 13 years. I was certified EMT, had my EMTB for 8 years. Like I said, medical has always been in my life because of family and everything, and neighbors having accidents and helping them. And seeing them else. And then a private investigator licensed for 6-7 years. And then and just watching shows, doing our own thing as growing up. Now, y'all remember this show, Chips. Punch and John. Now, my best friend and I used to get on our bikes and go around the neighborhood, and our mailman would play along with us. He was the bad guy. We were like Punch and John on the bikes. I felt like we were following him. He played it. He was the best mailman ever. So, things like that, self-taught, being just, aware of things. So my plan is to have a series of these because it's so much information and so many little hints and tricks and tips that you can do that I just don't want to go rush through everything in 1 hour. So, what is situation awareness? Well, a lot of people think, oh, just be around your surroundings and this, that, and other. But that is part of it. But there is so much more to it than just sitting around, looking around, and everything. So think, situation. So let's look up the definition. Situation. A set of circumstances in which one finds oneself or state of affairs. The location or surroundings of a place. Now that's just that. So let's go to Merriam-Webster. All right, so situation as a noun, the way in which something is placed in relation to its surrounding. Locality, a state of health, a position or place of employment, position, a status, a position in life, position with respect to conditions and circumstances, And then it says a relative position or combination of circumstances at a certain moment. A critical, trying, or unusual state of affairs. A particular or striking complex of affairs at a stage in the action of narrative or drama. So the word situation can be used in many different ways. So there are sentences where, like, he's in a bad situation. You may find yourself in a situation when you lose control of your vehicle, or how's your financial situation? I'm worried about the current political situation. Whoops. But that is not the situation we're talking about tonight. So, situation, a relative position or combination of circumstances at a certain moment. Um, there's more than that, and then the way in which something is placed in relation to its surroundings. So that one right there is more a lot to it. So then we're going to awareness. This quality or state of being aware, knowledge and understanding that something is happening or exists. So that's Miriam. Okay, so the dictionary says knowledge of or perception of a situation or a fact. Then we go to Cambridge. It says knowledge that something exists or understanding of a situation or subject at the present time based on information and experience. Okay, so now we have those definitions down. And then you put them together. Situation, awareness. So you're always aware, whether you're inside your home or you're outside your house, in the garden, doing stuff, mowing the grass, in the car, going to the grocery store, there's always awareness. So you're always aware. So what makes situation awareness different? It's because things that you are normally doing or you're normally used to seeing and everything, all of a sudden changes. So the first step I would suggest to do is when you go to kind of teach yourself how to think a little bit different than what you're used to. Yes, my arm's itching. Don't know what's going on. That's for Wednesday night. Hey, so brother, we'll start with inside your house. Inside your home, your apartment, your house, whatever. Look around. You get so used to sitting there and just everything is in the same place, nothing's moved or anything. And then, sometimes oh, something that looks like it's moved. But are you really aware of how your home looks? The best thing my fifth grade teacher ever did for me personally, I don't know if all other kids enjoyed it, whatever, but this was something I really took to heart. We would start studying Helen Keller, and she was blind since birth and everything. Well, not since birth, but she had scarlet fever, and they put mustard seed pads or something on her eyes, but it made her go blind. So she had to learn all kinds of things, and then the teacher came and taught her. But my teachers challenged us. Can you go walk around your house with your eyes closed? And do you know where everything is at? And I did that. And, well, up to this day, but my parents' house has been sold. For years, I did that. I learned where every single thing was in my room, in everybody's room, the living room, the kitchen. So, yeah, in the middle of the night, I knew where everything was. If the lights went out, I knew exactly how to walk to the kitchen without bumping into anything and grabbing that flashlight. Um, Another thing, all right, so with that, here is one of those little tips that I like. Oh, I know. So exactly, count the steps to everything. Yes, Heather, exactly, and count the steps. Um, if the lights go out, or so it's like the lights go out, or you get ready to get up and you gotta turn the lights on. In the dark, there you go. Close your eyes, count for 10, and open your eyes, and your eyes will already be adjusted to the dark or to the light. And people used to ask me, that doesn't work. I was like, try it. Just try it. Turn the light off, count to 10. Your eyes will be already adjusted and open up. And it's like, instead of having your eyes open and you turn the light off and it's still like, oh, that light's still blinding me, type thing, and your eyes adjusting. Turn the light off, count to 10, and when you open up, you'll be surprised. Your eyes are already adjusted to the dark. And then, walk around and everything. And the same thing when you go to turn the light on. If something happens, you go and to count 1, 2, 3. As you get to 3, 4, 5, turn that light on, and then when you open your eyes are adjusted. So I was like, I've taught myself that, and I was like, I still do that to this day. Hey, Bud Files. So that's a little tip to help out, especially when there's a storm coming or the power is off, or or you hear something in the dark, and it's like, where things are, but they don't. Yeah, where does the creek? Yeah, exactly. So, that is a part of awareness. Awareness in your home, because that's where you spend most of your time, is inside your house. We'll get outside in a little bit, but inside your house is when you spend most of the time. When the lights on, the sun out and everything, it's easy. When it gets dark outside, we turn the lights on. It's easy, that's just a regular routine of how stuff is. All right, so there's the kitchen. This is around my desk. I've got to cover something up. Can't share that on YouTube. There's our living room. There's everything right through there. Simple. Plain and simple. You think it's plain and simple. But someone, well, y'all take pictures. I don't care. I have a nice little weapon that I had to cover up. And believe me, I have something else besides that to take care of somebody, because of things I've learned, and we will get more into those too. But your home, I sit here every day. This is the same thing I just showed you. I look at every day. Of course, I'm gonna know what it looks like during the day. Now, we do keep that light over the stove on all night, because when I used to be upstairs, and we tested this out when we moved in, because we were all upstairs. And Anastasia was little. We had the bunk beds upstairs, the top bunk upstairs, and everything. So, hold on just a moment. Okay, I thought they were going. It's only 1 o'clock. I'm thinking. So, I sit here, all day. I know what it looks like. When we first, like I was saying, when we first moved in, we tested it out. Y'all saw the back door, right? It's glass pane in it. The front door is solid. Easy peasy, people, you have a glass pane in the windows, someone could break it. Yes, we have an alarm on. And that thing is loud. So, how quick would somebody get in to get upstairs? And the alarm takes 30 seconds, and then, it counts down. Now, it will beep, but then after that 30 seconds, the alarm is sounding. And so my daughter-in-law, we tested it out without the alarm on. We turned it off, but her coming in the door, how fast could she get upstairs? So it only took her less than maybe 10 seconds or so, whatever. So we trained to see if something would happen, if that situation would happen. We never say it would happen, but maybe if it does. Maybe you're sitting here and I know when somebody's at that door, that back door. I know when maintenance slides the notice in the crack of the door. When my son gets home, if it's an off time that he's not supposed to be home from work and there's like somebody with the key putting in that door, I sit here and I count. Because like I said, I've got something on my table. And I've got other things you can use. But if it's not him, and he lets me know if it's him or not, and he lets me know it's him. But I'm like, okay, and I wait. Because I have a fast reaction. Now, I used not to because I was hurting so bad. But I know the sound. I know the sound of the key. When it turns. And Anastasia and I have been sitting here during the day when she was like kindergarten, first grade, and someone put a key in when her mom and dad's at work. And I would tell her, do this, and she knows what to do. So we train everybody in the house where to hide, what to do, when to do it. If this was like a code, or if I had a code word for her. Now, when we were outside, I did have a code word for her. All right, so in your house, sit down, take a look of everything where everything is at. Sit down and just sit and quiet. Now, I know that people have family at home and everything, but find a time when it's quiet. Even if it's at nighttime, you sit down, relax, and close your eyes. And you count to 10 back, from 10 to 1 backwards. Or you can count from 1 to 10, either way. And then you clear your mind and you listen. Listen to the sounds of your house. Like Heather was talking about, hey, Robin, listen to the sounds of the house when it's quiet. Because then, all right, when it's quiet, this is going. The refrigerator, the freezer. When I lay in bed, that refrigerator, I hear it. I'll sit there and I'll listen. Because sometimes it makes a different noise, and I'm like, okay, what noise is that? Is it the same noise? Is it a different noise? So I'm going to tell you, I hear everything from the front. I hear everything from the side. I hear everything in the back. I hear everything from upstairs. So now I got myself trained. Is it a noise inside? Is it a noise outside? Where that noise is, the regular refrigerator, or if it's the freezer. Because I know the other night, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I think it was Friday, so Saturday morning after the Friday live on the cooking channel. I'm laying there, and the front door has the little thing that you can do to knock on somebody's door. And I know I heard that sucker, and I'm just like, I'll sit down, I'll lay down, I'm like, I'm waiting to hear it again. But I heard it again, it was next door. I'm just like, really, people? The porch light is on, and you can't see the number? I was like, really? I was like, I just lay there. And I started hearing things outside at nighttime. I don't even get up anymore. Now, I used to be the person that would get up and open the door and look around and everything else. What changed was getting hurt and not be able to move like I used to when I did security, and even a few years ago. So now I should change perspectives. All right, so sit down, listen to the sounds in the house when it's quiet, and get to know those sounds. Um, and then you can start training yourself for other things. And that's going to be in like coming on. But sit down, listen to the sounds in your house. All right. So then do it during the daytime when everything is going on, when all the kids or grandkids, when, uh, you know, other people are home, your spouse is at home, when things are cooking, you know, in the kitchen, stand in the kitchen. You can still stand in the kitchen and sit there and just close your eyes and just count again and then listen. And you'll start learning the sounds of everything during the daytime. Like Heather says, that floor that creaks. Know where that floor, walk it. If you hear it, walk your house, learn where that creak is in the floor. Because if you're laying in bed and everybody is asleep, and you know everybody is asleep, and all of a sudden you hear that creak, you go, oh, I know where that's at. Why is somebody in that room? Or, somebody's in the kitchen. That's an alert for you to get up and like find out what's going on. Um, and one of the best things to do, and it's just like it's relaxing too. It's relaxing for me. Um, just sitting there in the quiet and listening, because sometimes it's like, you hear a new noise and it's like you never heard something like that before. And then you get the curiosity, well, I got to find out where that's at. Um, Now, I know, like Heather, they've got animals and everything, they've got a farm. So there are lots of sounds out there in the country. There's a lot of sounds in the city. Where we're at, we have the road that comes into here, which is and it comes into a neighborhood. So we live at the beginning of the neighborhood. So, you hear the cars going in and out and everything. But the road beside us, and it goes in between the apartment complexes here. And then it goes to another main road, and then it's kind of like a loop. And it's like, yes, it helps relax. And it's like, you can tell if when you start to listen, is if you live in the city and everything, and you sit there and you start doing this, and you're like, oh, I know which way that car is going. I know which way, it's going this way, it's going down this road. And that's just from sitting in your house. And yes, you know what sounds are normal. And that's a training thing you can do for yourself. So being aware in your house of different things. Of being, so mine, I used to have my apartment when my son I lived with when he was younger. I changed furniture around. Still used to do it, but now I've got it to where as it stays just like it is. Because no sense in moving it. But I would change. They'd be going at school, and they come home like, what the heck? So, but my mom used to do the same thing. We would go, be at school, and one day come home, and the living room was changed around, or the dens changed around. And it's like, what happened here? And it's like, oh, I just felt like moving things around. I'm like, okay. But that was the first thing I noticed when I walked in, because I had trained myself to know where everything was at. So when I went and bump into it, I hear everything all day long. My husband comes home, the TV's so loud, he can hear everything. I know. It's so funny. Yeah, we used to change around all the time, but now we got a set place, and it doesn't get moved because now we're used to it. We're used to it. So like that chair right there, that door, it stays right there unless we move it. Unless when it needs to be when somebody needs to go downstairs in the basement to wash clothes or something. Um, Now, I don't know how true this is, but the head maintenance guy, told us the reason why there was bars on the windows in the basement because the guy that lived here before us, his friend broke in through there and came in and stole stuff from him or whatever. I don't know if that's true. I don't recall seeing bars on anybody else's windows, but it really didn't. I didn't really take the time to look or even ask because I was like, that's kind of personal stuff. So we did put a blanket up at that um, window down there between the bars and the windows because at nighttime, if you go down there and you flip the light on, so you can see going down the steps, you can see through that window into the basement. So we just took care of it right then and there, put something up so nobody could look in. That window, it happens to be right under the kitchen window. So underneath the kitchen window, it's the metal right there, but it's that divot. So they go, well, if someone comes up, they'll step in that and fall and get hurt. Well, that was true when we had that big old bush out there, but that died and they pulled all that out. I was like, if they're not looking, they still could get hurt. But we're sitting here and I put that chair up against that door so that, just in case. You just never know. But here's something that was funny. One day I was sitting here I was talking to Rebecca, and I don't know, I can't remember what day it was. Anyway, this is a while back, and it was like somebody was on the other side of that door. Didn't turn the handle, but they were just shaking the door. And at first I was going to sit there and say, Rebecca, I'll call you back. But I said, Rebecca, stay on the phone. And she just looked at me, so I texted my son to come downstairs. She goes, what was that? And he looked at me, and I told him what happened. He goes, ain't nobody can get down there. I said, well, you explain to me and Rebecca what we just heard. And so he asked Rebecca, he goes, what? She goes, it was like somebody trying to open that door and shaking it really hard. So we anointed the house real quick. I don't know what it was, but it was just really weird. And it's not happened since. So it's like, okay, those kind of things kind of like freak you out really fast. And then I was like, no, we've always had that chair there. So now it's there. And sometimes I'll put something up at the handle because I will not hesitate to throw something, do something, get up, you name it. Now, if y'all noticed when I showed y'all the back door, one of my canes is at that back door. That's the folding cane that I have. So, and we've tested that out. So sometimes you may need a little bit of extra security while you're in the house. Now the days have long gone of, yeah, exactly. It didn't. We anointed the house, and I just told him Jesus lives here, so you gotta go. Sorry, ain't no room for you. So you have to use a deep voice and make other voices like they are. Oh, my voice can get deep. Um, I can get to a bass note when I need to. Um, so the folding cane's at that door underneath the doorknob. Sometimes that little extra thing is just a peace of mind, but also test it out. Put something there, get someone to come like they're trying to get in and see if it was. Now, that cane is a deterrent for one, but it gives extra time if someone was trying to open that door for me to get up and to either I have a whistle since I'm downstairs or time to get upstairs to get somebody up. Excuse me. So things that you can do to sit there and just get yourself aware of what's going on, aware of what's going on inside your home. The sights, the sounds, the smells. Smells are wonderful. Um, because your house has a distinct scent to it because you live there, your family lives there. You have, whether it's candles that you burn, the food that you cook, and there or something else. See what I told you? Take off your hoodie. I have a fancy cane that has hidden features. You want to see the cane? you know, he still gets me. I can sit there and be watching and be talking to him, and I'll say he'll go boo or something or another, and I'm still jumping. When the power went out, my brother would purposely scare out. So our stairs do creak too. So there's certain ones that we know we step on, what sound it makes. Um, Now we have, I don't know, we've had someone at the doors, and I know it was from the people when we first moved in and everything. So we had someone throw stuff at the side and everything, and by the time, because I was able to move pretty fast back then, um, by the time I got to it was a front door, whichever door, and opened it, and I saw the car, and I just yelled, I was like, the person you're looking for don't live here anymore. Stop it. Do they have canes? Do they have cans that have some extras? I don't know. I know there's let me get you that. I'll go get that one because I will show y'all something that happened to that cane. Oh, actually, I have the king, the one I'm talking about. So that is one of the kings. All right, hold on. Oh, it's Anastasia. Hello. Oh, Phil. What you looking for? All right. So this is the cane I'm talking about. I put my other cane at the door, but this one's at the door. This one comes apart. And I'm gonna tell you, this sucker hurts. So this part right there. All right. So used to be the only cane that I had until I got the other ones. But one day I'm sitting there walking and it falls. Now watch, it won't come apart fast. The top came off. In my man voice, yes, I have. I can't sit there and what do you want? And that is because when you sit there holding your gut and your voice goes deeper. Um, I was on the cheering squad in high school, so I was a cheerleader. So you learn how to do that by holding your gut, and so that when you doing the cheers and everything to be loud, you're not screaming and losing your voice. You're holding your gut in, you hold your stomach in, and you talk. and you can get your voice down deeper. Even for ladies that have a soft voice and talk, believe me, it works. Doing security, doing EMS and everything, you gotta yell. Um, Heather is on the farm. When you gotta yell, you take a breath in and you go, hey! So you're using all those muscles and all your chest muscles and everything to sit there to get that voice, to get your voice to project. So, yeah. I have to write a book. I've been trying. I'm still trying to write my cookbook. So one day at a station, I was out walking and everything. And this king probably won't do it now. But I was walking like this, and the thing comes up, and it goes off, and I'm just like, okay. So, oh, she was like first grade. So this is 2020, May of 2020. Anyway, I had been doing it and everything. So my son goes, because we take, go walk and everything. And he goes, how are you going to defend each other? I said, well, this is for the long, for length and everything. I said, but that's okay, because if anything happens, I've got something close up and personal. He got to laughing at me. I'm like, yeah, I got 2 in 1, because just now it comes apart. The glue just came off of it. It doesn't stick. And if I use it too much, when I do use it, it just sometimes does slides right on off. So I was like, and this is metal. So these are sharp right here and everything. So, there you go. That's what I do. Now, the other cane that's at the door, the rubber part that's like on here, that's come off. So the metal part is down. So it shows. I'm just like, so the reason why that's why that's at that door, because, and I got it underneath the mat, whatever, so that it doesn't scratch the floor. But that, hey babe, how you doing? But that cane is there because it will grab the floor, the rug better and everything, and it is still in that's a solid cane. So even with this cane at the door, it would, because there were a couple of times that Anastasia and me are at home and they're at work or whatever, and I just put it at the door. It's just me and her. So one day they came home from work early, I didn't know it, and they went to open. I heard the key. They went to open it, and I said I had to wait. But my son, without really forcing himself in, he couldn't get that door open. So that was something that's still a personal protection for me, because I'm downstairs. So I've got the front door and the back door. When I lay down in bed at night, I have to lay on my right side. I cannot lay on my left side because of my hip. And my son was saying the other day, because you can't lay on your left side either because your pacemaker. So my pacemaker is up here. So I can lay on my left side, but it just puts pressure on my left hip. So I was like, when I get into bed, I'll get on my left side, but then I have to turn over to my right side. So I am facing that window and that door. And so learning to know the sights, the sounds, the smells. So we were getting to the smells. Smells are wonderful, like I was saying. Smells let you know many things. So one thing I was suggest, as far as like the first smell or something another, like when you light a match, everybody knows what a match smells like. So, and that just kind of like fills up fast. because now my son has a lighter upstairs. But I still have matches down here. And when I light a match, they know it. They go, "You light a match." I'm like, "Yes, I did." "Hey, makeup mom and son." So, that's one of the easiest smells to learn how to get yourself familiar with. Um, the next one is like for your stove. Um, when the water boils over, or if there's um, grease, it's not like an electrical smell on the stove, but when things boil over, take notice of what it smells like, because then it's like, oh, I've seen this. I've smelled that before. Then you know what it is. Um, Now this stove, my son and daughter-in-law fixed the burners and everything, and that back burner will still just do whatever it wants to do. So when it smokes, that gives off a different scent. And of course, you can see it. So that's another thing of being aware of the surroundings in your house. What does the stove lights do? Do they burn? Do they smoke? Do they smell? Do they have a smell to them? Um, Now, I'm not really suggesting this, but wire has a distinct smell to it because it's plastic. And I wouldn't do it inside, I would do it outside if possible. But, maybe go to the local fire department. They may have some ways of, like, how would you know what's the difference between this type of wire burning and this something burning, and they might have something there that you can, they will show you how to tell the difference. Now, one thing you can do, the little twist ties on the bread that you get and everything, light one of those and smell it. That doesn't even smell it. But light one, that's the plastics burning. That's a wire burning and everything. Those are very distinct smells. And we all know what wood burning smells like from wood fireplaces and everything. Um, but wood is a different, something else that gives off different smells. A lot of homes are, it's made of wood. You've got wood framing inside your house. Um, would you know what the wood smelled? If it was burning, would you know what it smelled like? No. Fortunately, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smoke alarms in this place. One in the basement, one right here, one upstairs in the hallway, and one in each room. We also did fire drills. Anastasia still has a ladder underneath her bed, so if they had to, they could take the ladder and whichever room window they could get to, they can get out from doing that ladder. But smells are important also. We've all smelled rotted stuff before. Stuff we left in the fridge by accident and set in the back and went bad. It is sometimes the most awful thing that you can smell. Rotten food. But that's a scent. And all of a sudden, if you start smelling it, and you know there's nothing in the fridge that's rotten or anything else that's gone bad, then that gives clues what's going on. There's something to get in the wall and, didn't make it out. Let's see here. Now, I've done this just because I was a kid. So like I said, the smell of, rotten stuff. So I did this as a kid. I'm telling on myself. I did this. I said, this is not that we were bored or anything, but it was called curiosity back then. But it was, we were, I guess, science buffs. We wanted to learn how stuff worked, what didn't work. You know, all with supervision, and we'll just leave it at that. So we would take, pull a piece of hair and like a match and see what it would do. When hair singes, it has a distinct smell to it. So, when we would go to the beauty salon and everything, and somebody sitting underneath the dryer, smell of propane, exactly. We were sitting on one of the ladies was sitting underneath the dryer, and nobody could smell it, but we knew what the smell was like. And I walked up to the girl. I said, "Her hair's burning." So how all that permanent smell and that chemical smell and everything and all that. They were so used to it that they couldn't smell it. I said, "But I'm telling you, her hair is burning. You better go check it." And sure enough. So it works. Because then you can use it. Then when you go out places, it's like, "Oh, I know that smell. What's that smell?" And you're enhancing your awareness by learning different smells. That's like when you open a can of food. You know the smell. If it smells good, if it smells bad, um, the way it looks. So smells. I'm trying to think of something else. So besides candles and the wire burning, you know. Oh, when you're cooking food, it smells good. Um, like a roast or something else. When you're cooking chili, there's different smells. So when it's getting cooler outside, you're gonna have your window open. There'll be different smells coming in. So then you say, "Oh, car exhaust is the worst." I was just like, "Oh my god!" I just opened my window and you gotta go down the street like that. Um, so start learning like different smells. Everybody has, animals to people. People have smells, and we're trying to like, well, it's a taboo. We used to like, talking about body odor, and everything else, but you have a distinct smell. Now, if you use perfumes or cologne and everything, people have their favorite stuff. That's a smell. You know that person, or if you walk in somewhere and you smell it, it's like, wait a minute, that's someone that uses that. And then you'll start looking around. It's like, well, what? Is so over here? I mean, Yeah, that's that song. Can you smell that smell? Those were lyrics that Donnie and I remembered those last night. Oh goodness. So so to recap, start off looking around your house, cologne, cigars, cigarettes. Now those are very distinct smells of cigarettes. And then cigarettes, there's so many brands and they all have a distinct smell. And so do cigars. Now, well, it used to be illegal. I guess some states are not. Marijuana has a very distinct smell. It smells like a skunk. And I can tell you, I'm so glad that we have new neighbors because the guys that used to live there from 9 a.m., I think it was all night, but from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., it was awful. At one point, I almost went there, not told him, "Can you please calm it down because I have heart issues?" But, it didn't do no good. And I knew it wouldn't do any good. Um, and, nothing against people that have to use it or anything. I can't be around it because of my heart. Yeah, strong cologne and perfume and everything that can give people headaches because people are, when I was doing EMS, I didn't wear no perfume or anything because you just didn't know what the patient may be allergic to or what they have a reaction to or anything like that. So, um, sit in your house and close your eyes and listen to the sounds. Listen to the sounds during the day. Listen to the sounds at night. Yeah, it's very stinky. I get migraines from that stuff growing or smoked wherever I go. Yeah, exactly. So I did the same thing, and it does smell like a skunk of burnt coffee. Sorry. Here it comes. Yeah, I know. But like I said, now that's a smell. You associate it with something. So you're gonna associate that smell with something. Just like if you do in your house. Learning the different smells and everything, you can associate it with something. Um, because oh yeah, definitely. Now my nose, oh my goodness. I was like, okay, Lord, He gave me ears and a nose that I can smell stuff miles away and up close and hear things far away. Um, Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not. That's just like, okay. Because everything is going at one time, and I'm like, all right, it's time for bed. Just close your eyes, think of something else, clear your mind. We used to put cotton balls on your ears to go to sleep at night a long time ago. But then one night, someone was banging on our door, so we stopped that. And this is when I was little. I get to my stomach with coffee brewing. Daddy makes his coffee outside. Oh my goodness. I just missed somebody. I know I didn't. All right. I have problems with strong smells because of migraines. My mother in law's perfume. Yeah, I know. I understand. So, with the smells, you know, I've got candles over there. I have the essential oils that I use. Take those and, don't get them, you can get them close enough that you can tell what the smell is. Um, like I said, different things in your house, you do deodorant. Everybody likes nice smelly deodorant that has a smell. So, just little things you can get around and the smell, and you can write down, take a mental note. This is what it looks like. You've got animals. If you got inside animals, they have distinct smells also. So, the cat knows what you smell like, know what your cat smells like, know what your dog smells like. Um, Especially have an animal that goes inside and outside. Well, Robin, was your dad in the Navy? So part of this growing up was because my dad was in the Army. I had my dad, an uncle, so they were in the Army. I had one, two, three, two uncles, two or three uncles in the Navy. I had a one, two, three cousins in the Navy. I had a cousin in the Air Force. I had a cousin in the Marines. So I'm trying to make sure I don't leave anybody out. I think someone was in the Coast Guard because I was telling Rebecca earlier. I've had somebody in my family in every branch of service except for space because they didn't have that. Vietnam, yes. World War Two, World War One, World War Two, Vietnam or Korea, Vietnam, um, the one in the 90s. I don't know if he was or wasn't. Um, then, oh my goodness. A Navy, yes, I had a cousin, two and a cousin in the Navy. Operation Desert Storm was the one I'm thinking of. Um, I don't know. Oh, yes, three uncles in the Navy: John, Uncle Bill, and Uncle Norman. Yes, they had three uncles in the Navy. Um, my Uncle John, Uncle Bill, all three of them. Um, the D-Day, one was on the boats going in, the other one was on the parachute coming down, and they both, they would sit and tell war stories. And when I got to my cousin that was in Nam, they made the kids leave. I was like, we want to know. But apparently, he did things that, nobody else could know except if you were in the military. So, and that's what I was told later on. Um, so, but I never got to know what my cousin did, but my son upstairs did. He told me, he goes, you don't want to know what he did. I said, I have a pretty good idea. He goes, no, you don't. I'm like, yeah, I do. It's okay. So, a lot of that training was um, my dad, because I would ask, you know, how you do this when y'all were in this? Would you do this? What did y'all learn? And so the little parts that I did gather, I started training myself. Sit on the porch at nighttime and just listen to the birds, or listen to the crickets, or listen to the animals, or listen to the cars and what they sounded like. You know, I watched what moved which way the wind blew, um, which way, and then which way the trees went. Did it when the wind was blowing hard enough? Did it brush up against the house? So I learned that sound. You know, walking across the leaves, learning what that sound. After all these years, they decided to finally dredge it all up and clean it. Clean what? Oh, it's in the water near me because it was made a couple of towns over. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so, just we'll get to outside next week and everything, but sit inside your house, sit and close your eyes. So the first tip I was talking about was when you go to turn the light off. When you reach to turn that light off, close your eyes, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And when you open up your eyes are adjusted. And same way when you go to turn the light on, close your eyes and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's that quick. Oh my goodness. Wow, Robin. So that's a simple trick, especially when the power goes out and you like what's going on. So sit in your house and look where everything is at. Learn where everything is at. Walk around your house with your eyes closed. Can you walk without bumping into anything? Like I was telling people earlier, my fifth grade teacher challenged us. Helen Keller was who we were learning, and could we make it around our house with our eyes closed? So I took that to heart, and I learned. I learned where everything was. I used to have my grades like chemical cleaners on microwaves and microwaves. Got rid of the chemical cleaners on microwave. Yeah, I know. I make my own cleaner. That works a whole lot better. They don't think so, but I know it does. So, learning where things are in your house. And if you like to change things around, rearrange things every once in a while, do the same thing again. Sit down, look at it, make a note. Or this is here, this is here. Sometimes taking a picture of it and then looking at the picture. That way you know. Like I said, we leave the light on at nighttime because when we were all upstairs and my son and daughter-in-law were working, it was leave a light on so they could come downstairs so they can see and everything. But being all of us upstairs, if somebody would come through the door, that light's on, so we would know if someone had turned it off, something was going on, and everything. I can use bleach cleaner, but I think lots of cleaners are too much. Yep. Yeah. So, you know, like I said, start with sitting in your house, learning the sounds. So sit when it's quiet. So like it's quiet now. I can sit here and just close my eyes, calm yourself down, and then you just listen. Well, I know the AC's on now, and I hear the freezer running at the same time. And it's like, okay. And then every once in a while, the freezer over top of the refrigerator will sit there and pop and everything and defrost. And it's like, okay, I know that sound. And then I hear another sound. I'm like, well, if it's something new, try to figure out what it is. Then you said, once you get all that and everything, then sit during the day with you. Do the same thing during the day. Knowing different poo animal can be very important. Yes, indeed. They do it during the day where everybody's moving around and everything, and people are walking. Like Heather said, a creak in the floor or a creak on the steps, and then you'll know. You know, it's like I hear everything upstairs. I hear everything outside, back, the side, and the front. So the senses are always doing something or another and everything. So tonight I wanted to give an introduction about situation awareness, what we can do about it, how to start learning different things, and we start with inside our house. Learning the sights, the sounds, the smells, where things are. Could you walk in the dark in your house without bumping into anything? So little tricks about when the power goes off, or you turn the light off with your eyes open. It takes a long, your eyes are trying to adjust or something, and it just takes that 10 seconds to turn the light off while you're counting, turn that light off midway, and when you open your eyes are adjusted already, and you can see in the dark. So, but I am going to go ahead and get off right now because, like I said, this is going to be I won't long drawn out, but I want to do it in a series. That way, everybody can go back and listen to what's going on and everything. So next Monday night, we've done the inside of being aware. Next Monday night, I'm going to show y'all some things about how to protect yourself inside, how to have more safety inside and everything. And then probably the following Monday, we'll start with being like outside. And then, I'll go through step to step, like different things, like when you're going to the grocery store or if you're going to your car and everything. And, so this is going to be a series. It's very dear to my heart because of situations I've ever been into and everything. Personally, and I'll be explaining that too, on domestic violence and everything, and then being out in the workforce and learning, knowing okay, what's that's about and everything. So I want to help everybody else out about learning what to do, the keys and cues that people give off and everything, and help y'all, especially we have to admit things aren't like they used to be, though I wish they were. So we in a different age and everything, but the best thing of it is when you're aware and you got yourself trained that way, you can relax and enjoy yourself. And then when you I smelled something like the other night. I smelled something burning. I got up, I looked around. The only thing I could think of was being next door, and I'm just like, I've had that happen before, so now I know what to look for and what I can smell and everything. So next week, like I said, we've sat down, we've learned the sights, learning different smells and everything. I will show y'all different ways to help, what to do, more protection in the home without even really have to have a pew pew. How about that? So, can you take a peek? Here's a little hint. The only difference is one's licensed and the other one's not. Oh goodness. Well. On that note, people don't realize a lot of things are public knowledge. That's just what it is. You buy a house as public knowledge at the real estate office. You get a speeding ticket. It's in the court system. That's public knowledge. I'm just telling. There's a lot of things that are public knowledge that people just don't realize. So, and I probably might do a series on that also. So, thank y'all for being here and watching everything. Yep, just like Magnum. Maybe some of the things we learned was from watching TV shows. But if you watch those shows and look at the credits at the end, like Emergency, Magnum PI, and the shows, they list where they give credit to about CSI. That's another one. They list who they have helping on those sets and everything. Actually trained people that did that work. So tonight was the first series. Wednesday night will be my health and everything. So I'll give y'all everything that's up to date on that. Friday night is the cooking channel, so cooking dairy free and out for golf Nancy. Saturday night is Bible study, and then next Monday night is part 2, how to be safe in your house. So thank y'all for coming. God bless. Stay safe. We love y'all. And we'll see you next time on Our Treasure Home.